In this recording, I will be sharing my experience regarding living in Fukuoka, moving to Fukuoka. Hopefully, you'll find this useful as it might help you decide to move here or it will help you solve some of the questions that you might have. This is only my experience and my opinions. Just for the record, I've been living in Japan for roughly 6-7 years. Out of those, half of that time has been in Fukuoka. The rest of the time has been in Tokyo, so I think I have a good grasp to compare Tokyo and Fukuoka. Most of the people that come to Japan come through Tokyo first and then move to Fukuoka. So you might be somebody who is thinking about moving to Japan, or you might be somebody who is in Tokyo and thinking about moving somewhere else, especially with remote work. So Fukuoka is a great city. I just love living here. If possible, I don't want to move anywhere else. If you ask any Japanese people, most likely the first thing that they're going to tell you is that Fukuoka is a compact city. That's the first thing that they'll tell you, and probably what most Japanese people remember. What they mean is that this is a second tier city and everything is well placed such that it's very convenient to get around. So unlike Tokyo, the scale is much smaller, but don't kid yourself. Fukuoka has every shopping experience, every food experience, everything that Tokyo has to offer, just to a smaller scale. The smaller scales means you don't need to commute as often. It means that if you need to take a flight to Europe for an offsite for work or whatever the case is, you only take a 10 minutes ride and the airport is right in the middle of the city, and then you are already in your plane. You don't need to get on multiple trains and make it 1 hour. It's extremely convenient. That's what it means with being compact. So if you are afraid that Fukuoka is going to be this city that is very inaka, that is very countryside, that there's nothing, don't worry about it. Doesn't matter where you go in Fukuoka, if you live in the center or even in the outskirts, it's going to be extremely convenient. So you should get that fear out of your head first. So I think that's the main gist. Fukuoka is just a second tier city, much smaller. That means your money gets you more for the same amount that you'll get in Tokyo. Here you get a double. That applies for rent and for other little things. In terms of nature, there are so many things to do here. The seaside is amazing in summer, just to enjoy the different beaches that are around. The sea is beautiful. It is spotless. You just drive 30 minutes from the city center and you find amazing places just to go to the beach. Spotless, pristine beaches and sand. It's just like that. There is a lot of places for hiking. It is well connected in terms of transportation. So all of that, just if you are concerned about it, you just forget about it. Now, the main reason why I am more excited about Fukuoka more than ever is that I see a lot of things are happening here that are not happening anywhere else in Japan that I'm aware of. So this is and the people who are in charge of making that happen, are very capable. That's my impression so far. So the people who are in charge of Fukuoka City, they have big dreams and they are capable enough to execute them, which is not the same thing that I felt in Tokyo or in other big Japanese cities. I think they were mismanaging the place. In general, in Tokyo, I think they have this huge privilege, which is they absorb all the people from Japan. Tokyo gets the best people from all over Japan there. They all want to go there because this country is so centralized, and that's where the big universities are and the big companies are. This is bad because it centralizes the country, but it also takes the best people out of Fukuoka. And the current Fukuoka administration is focusing on two things. The first The first thing is to make Fukuoka people stay in Fukuoka, and the second thing is to raise the birth rate. And that might be the discussion of a different video, but the strategies that they are using are impressive and has been impressive and are very effective. So much that the birth rate here has barely decreased and is on the rise. And I'm just surrounded by families, and everything here is so convenient if you have a baby that you'll be extremely surprised. So that's Fukuoka. If you're coming with a family, or if you're thinking of settling down here to have a baby, this is probably your best option in Japan. There are so many baby friendly places and events and activities that is just amazing. You should not forget about this. But what this also means is that the city is guaranteed to grow long term, because there is people here and there will be more people being born here. And this is an important point because it keeps real estate moving forward. It keeps a lot of things in the right place, unlike other Japanese cities. The, these are the two main things that the local government is working on. Third one is a bit more cliche, and I don't think they've been as successful as they want to be, but they want to make Fukuoka a tech hub. So there are a couple of conveniences if you come to Fukuoka, that even if you are not considering living here long term, it might help you be a successful nomad for a couple months here. There are so many co-working spaces, many of them which are community based, which means they are really cheap, almost for free, and some others which are for free, but entirely supported by the city. In the ones that are free and supported by the city, you get amazing locations. Like, it's just very convenient, surrounded by restaurants. You get big screens, super fast internet. You can get your own space in a quiet area or in a common space where you can have meetings. So if you are a nomad, you already bump into the city, you can already have two or three different big co-working spaces that are for free, high quality, very nice to network if you are coming to the city. One of them is the Engineer Cafe, and the other one is Fukuoka Road Next Cafe, as also called the Startup Cafe. You can go there. It's by default a co-working space, but you also get a lot of support. They're giving a lot of support for people who wants to start businesses here related to tech. So if you go there, you will find that they'll give you support in things like, hey, setting up a company or doing accounting. And if you do it to a minimal scale, they also have a lot of like tax benefits for rent and a few other things that probably escape my mind, and will be probably another video for that. But I just wanted to be aware, even if you're just a nomad or you want to work in the city every now and then, you have a very high quality spaces where you can network and where you can just enjoy fast internet and a good space. So they are trying to transform the city into a tech hub. I don't think it has been very successful, but I think that's a hard task, and they're challenging themselves in a way that I don't see any other city challenging itself. And I think it's fun to try, and it's definitely worth trying, right? There's a lot of businesses here that would benefit from the digital transformation. I think things like the port of Fukuoka, for example, which is located in a spectacular place just to trade with Asia and China, for example. But also a lot of the vegetables and meat that are imported into the main Japanese island called Honshu come from Kyushu. So I think there is a lot of space for things like digital transformation and companies at a local level, although they want to take it to the more global level of creating tech companies, which I think is very ambitious and is very good. But I don't think so far it has been as successful as they probably thought it would be. But the mindset is there and the incentives are there. These incentives, especially after COVID, had brought a new type of people that I didn't see before in Fukuoka, which is a lot of tech entrepreneurs who, for example, have a Japanese partner, have chosen Fukuoka to settle. And this is a big change. in the last year, I've seen more and more interesting people coming here to the city to settle down, and that has created a very different kind of community from what I saw when I moved in during the COVID time. So what I see is a growing city which has a great management who knows exactly where they want to go, and a bunch of smart people are coming here. I think all of that makes it a fantastic place to be. Um, the same with the rest of Japan. If you're somebody who is good executing, I think you'll make it here, because I think they are looking for people who are good at executing. In terms of my daily life, it's very convenient. It's just as convenient as it was in Tokyo, but just the scale of everything is more is smaller, which is for me is actually a plus. I live near the seaside, which I actually love. Is one of the things that I take long walks over there with my family, and I deeply enjoy that. There is a sense of community around families. There is a lot of new families here, so it's much less unusual to find the solo person who maybe it's because I live in a family area, but we know a couple families. It has been very easy in the last 1 year, 2 years. A lot of new families have moved in, many of which are, a Japanese partner and a foreigner partner together, and it has there is that environment around the area where I live, which is extremely convenient, safe for children, and just friendly. Like, we just go out for walks, and it's very easy to just say hi to a couple people and have a talk about it. I love to talk about tech, and just share thoughts and ideas. So it is becoming a thriving community, absolutely. And so when I compare it to Tokyo, so here's if you are pondering between Tokyo and Fukuoka, Tokyo it is an easy, in my experience, it was an easy to live there. I don't think Fukuoka will be more difficult. In terms of convenience, we are at the same level. If you are somebody who just wanted to live into the craze of a big city and all of the events it has to offer, like I was in my 20s, then Tokyo is a better city. But if you like something more slowed down, still a lot of concerts, event, theater, food, the different kind of food, all of that, then Fukuoka might be a better place to be. In terms of networking, Tokyo is the best place to be, probably. But my feeling is that there are a lot of hidden opportunities here in Kyushu, especially if you are somebody who can execute very well. And that more opportunities will grow over time. So if you are somebody who is willing to take the baton and create a community, and let's say of software engineering, and create a company, then this is a much better place to be. It is easier to get attention, it is easier to get support than in the noise of Tokyo. If you are somebody who just wants to be a corporate employee, then there is probably more options available in Tokyo and more opportunities over there. If you are somebody who wants to settle down with a family, I recommend Fukuoka. If you are somebody who is probably interested in the career ladder of a big corporation, then Tokyo might be the place to be. You just have more numbers there. I also think that the administration here in Fukuoka is trying to keep people and businesses here. They don't say this openly, but this is me reading the tea leaves. And this is because this country is so centralized that it hurts the local cities when the smartest people just go to Tokyo. And that's just talking about people, which is the most valuable resource that a community has. But in terms of money, it also happens. Something similar happens with taxes, but they're trying to keep the people here. And I think eventually it will work out. So it's a growing city. So just to conclude my point, it is a growing city where I see a lot of things happening and a thriving community that is trying to do different things, especially in the tech space, where things are still not as crowded. That is my current assessment of that story. Now, when I go to places like, let's say Sapporo, my feeling is that they don't have that good leadership to make the changes, but also they don't seem to have this thriving community that is growing. When I go and take a look at places like Osaka and Tokyo, these are the main drivers of the country, but those seems like crowded spaces that are overlooking other opportunities that exist in this area of the country. So definitely, if you can stop and work remotely from Fukuoka a few months, you should definitely try it. I can assure you it's gonna be super convenient, either coming here, but also working from here. Okay, that's it. Maybe I'll upload other recordings, perhaps expanding on more topics. I can feel that there are a couple rabbit holes I could go into, and I try to avoid them doing this recording. For example, how is Fukuoka City transforming the city to make it more baby friendly? And that is a very interesting conversation from the point of view of economics and from the point of view of how they did it. And it has worked massively well, that it could be an example for the rest of the country. So that could be not entirely recording of itself, and I try to avoid it. But if you are into it, if you think that's interesting, just look it up. Look up how the mayor of Fukuoka has used real estate to improve the quality and the incentivize citizens to have children. Anyway, this is just a recording, and have a nice day.